Weather forecast. It was a lovely day at the beginning of September, and Jack, Rosie, and Molly were planning a camping and hiking trip that they wanted to go on in the next couple of weeks. They were all 18 years old and had just finished their A-levels. At the end of September, they were all going to different universities, and they wanted to spend a few days together before term started. They knew that they wanted to go to the Peak District, which is a beautiful part of northern England, where there are hills, valleys, moors, and little farmhouses and lots of sheep. It's a lovely place to go hiking and spend some time in the fresh air. But they didn't know exactly when they wanted to go. They only had 3 weeks before university started, so they had to decide quickly. Rosie and Molly went over to Jack's house to talk about when to go on their trip. Jack greeted them at the door. He made them both a nice cup of tea and offered them some ginger biscuits. They sat down on Jack's comfy sofa and started talking. "So, when are we going?" asked Jack. "Any time is good for me. I haven't got anything else planned before I go to uni." "That's good," said Rosie. "But we should have a look at the weather forecast first, don't you think? After all, it is September, and we live in England. It could be really cold and windy. Don't you want to go while it's a bit warmer?" "Good point," said Molly. "Let's check the weather forecast then." So they all got their phones out. "How about next week?" asked Jack. "We could leave on Monday. The forecast says it's going to be sunny that day." "Yeah, but it's going to be quite cold," replied Molly. "See, it's only going to be 12 degrees during the day, and it could be sub-zero at night time. Don't forget we're going camping. We don't want to freeze in the tent, do we?" "I agree," said Rosie. "Let's check the next Monday. Oh, look, it's going to be much warmer. 17 in the day and 7 at night time. That sounds better, doesn't it?" "Come on, Rosie. Are we looking at the same forecast?" asked Jack. "What are you talking about?" said Rosie. "Look, it's going to be pouring with rain almost all of next week. It might be warm, but it's going to be really wet too." "It's totally fine with me," said Molly. "I like the rain." "Well, I don't want to walk around with wet feet all day," said Jack. "It looks like it will drizzle all day on Tuesday and Wednesday, so Jack won't like that." "What about Thursday, though?" asked Molly, hopefully. "Looks good," said Rosie. "See, it's not going to rain that day, and it's not going to be cold either. About 10 or 12 degrees. "Sounds good," said Molly happily. But look, Jack noticed something. It's going to be really foggy that day. We're going hiking in the hills, remember? If we set off in the fog, we will not be able to see where we're going. Even if we use the GPS on our phones, we won't be able to see where we're going. "I think you're right," said Rosie. Jack suggested leaving on Saturday instead. They all looked at the weather forecasts on their phones. "Looks like it's going to be nice that day," said Jack. "Looks like it's going to be nice that day," said Jack. "Yeah, it looks perfect," added Rosie. "Nice and warm, no rain, no fog. Let's do it then." "You guys are missing something," said Molly. "Have a closer look." "What do you mean?" asked Rosie. "Look how windy it's going to be. Can you imagine putting up a tent in really windy weather? It would be impossible. Also, it always feels much colder when the wind is blowing hard. I don't think that's a good idea at all." "You're probably right," said Rosie. Even Jack agreed with them. Rosie checked the forecast for Sunday, and she was surprised at what she saw. Snow. "Hey guys, Can you imagine hiking in the Peak District in snow? That would be really beautiful, don't you think? Yeah, it sounds nice, said Jack, but also very dangerous. You could easily slip on some ice, and imagine the wind started blowing too. If you get lost in a snowstorm, you won't feel comfortable, that's for sure. This is England, said Molly. One day it's raining, the next it's foggy, then it starts snowing in September. Yes, we have some funny weather, don't we? Replied Rosie. We do, said Jack. But I would really enjoy some sun. We've got one more week to check. Let's see what it will be like then, suggested Molly. Okay, said Jack. Monday is going to rain, Tuesday is going to be foggy again, and Wednesday, cold and cloudy. But look at Thursday, shouted Rosie. It's going to be sunny. Perfect. Great, said Rosie. And it won't be windy or cold either. It's going to be 17 degrees. And we'll have just enough time to hike, set up the tent, camp for a night, hike again, and then come home in time to pack for uni, added Jack. All three of them were happy. They started talking about what kind of equipment and food they wanted to take with them. I'm really looking forward to going hiking with you guys, said Molly. I'm glad we could finally find a day when the weather will be so good. Me too, said Rosie happily. But Jack had to spoil the mood. Don't forget we live in England, you two. It might say it will be sunny, but it might be snowing when we get there. You can never tell.
Turn the page for some games.
Match the definitions and the expressions.
Good work!
Fill in the gaps with the correct word.
That's really nice!
Group the sentences.
Wonderful!
Search for the words.
Congratulations! The end.